Now, as TAPA EMEA members understand better than anyone, security incidents in the logistics industry regularly make headlines and often highlight the need for a new approach to road transport security. These new solutions leverage advancements in digital technologies such as telematics, proactive route planning incorporating risk analysis, secure truck parking options, and monitoring solutions for drivers, trucks and cargo to provide effective and efficient ways to minimise the risks of cargo theft and operational disruptions. Now, our next speaker joining us in the studio today, representing another TAPA EMEA 2024 Premier Partner, is extremely well qualified to tell us more about how companies can embrace these technologies and benefit not only from enhanced security, but also improved operational efficiency and a positive return on investment. Please welcome Jannis Rinschen, Customer Lead Europe for Bosch Mobility Platform and Solutions. Jannis, thank you so much for joining us, and over to you if you'd like to stay there. Thank you.
So it's a real pleasure to be here again after having had some time in Amsterdam this year. It seems like this was yesterday. Sadly, while the good weather has gone, criminals are still very active and we see lots of incidents today. I want to give you today a couple of interesting facets that might help to contribute to actually improving your resilience and your security, and what we have learned over the last 3 years where we were active with our initiative Bosch Logistics Operating System. So as we were told, of course, and as I don't want to do a sales show, I will mostly focusing on how we can contribute to value by integrating different solutions, improving security. So this being said, we are trying to take transportation security to the next level. We have just heard there was actually a really, I think that was a really good keyword for us. Parking is still one of the most important things to consider when you are actually when you're actually trying to enhance security. And these statistics I don't have to repeat to you. You will have heard them today plenty time. But a key thing contributing to this is this slide that is in pretty similar format, something that we have shown for years now. Whether it's now actually 100,000 or 80,000 parking spots missing doesn't really matter. It's a huge problem still today, contributing both with driver positions being unfilled, actually also lots of dispatcher positions being unfilled, and billions of euros of cargo stolen. An interesting facet in this that we have not really touched until now, but that I will actually highlight today a little bit more in detail, is this statistics on the bottom left. 1 hour per day plus spent searching for parking. So I'm giving you a little bit of an asterisk here. Sometimes it might just be 30 minutes, but this time spent searching for parking is quite significant. And it's something that when we're talking about increasing the resilience of our supply chain and our fleets and cargo is oftentimes underestimated, because it provides a significant cost lever that we can use to actually cross-finance some of our security measures initiatives. So our standard solution that we have touted time and time again, and which I still think is pretty great, is of course our platform for truck parking. So if somebody was not there this or last year and has somehow missed it, we have the biggest platform for secure truck parking, and it provides some features like real-time visibility, reservation functionality, an audit trail for parking, and paying by invoice. Essentially a booking.com for secure truck parking, so I don't want to make it more fancy than it is. I love this solution. I think it's a great thing that we have it, because it really addresses the issues that also the previous speaker just highlighted, where we can actually make sure that even in peak season, which we are currently in, you will find a parking space at the right time, in the right spot, with the right and adequate measures of security. So this being said, we believe we have now partnered up with a good chunk of people, such as the fine folks from Risk Intelligence, which I first highlight here. So this is something that we as Bosch Logistics Operating System have been really focused on. We have built a smart integration method that makes it extremely easy. So we're talking weeks, instead of months and years, of integrating things like our parking functionality into systems that have a map, that have that using telematics, or in this case do route risk analysis. So while of course risk intelligence can speak for themselves, they are a great solution, quite similar to also TAPA, where we have where we can see that you can review incidents along the route and you really get that risk preview for your route. And then you can, in this route, you can see it now. It is going on, playing on loop. So you see this nice route from the very south to the very north. And the new thing now is that you can pre-book your preferred parking space directly from Risk Intelligence if you connect it with us via LOS. And that is actually something, if you're the normal Risk Intelligence or TAPA user, you will likely be a shipper or a TAPA member. The thing is, if you are a fleet, you can also access it. So they have some module called, I think, LSP Oversight. So if actually you are a fleet and you want to have this risk profile, you can ensure that the right parking space for a certain risk profile is booked. And the best thing about this, you get the audit data back. So why is this important? Because honestly speaking, of course, this is their system and we are talking about a partner of ours. One of many, because we are a neutral platform. For us, it's important to highlight that this connection between systems makes a big difference, because criminals, as you hear every time we have a TAPA conference, don't care for kind of interface problems. They will actually attack wherever they see there's a weak link. And we see that the weak link is oftentimes where we have actual frictions between systems and where we have interfaces, oftentimes even API interfaces. So if you're a shipper, this is actually a really cool solution, and this helps you to bring it all in one place, because only if you know what happens, you will actually be able to significantly reduce the effort that you have to make to actually monitor your supply chain. So I mentioned cost before. So this is another partner of ours, and we mentioned this also during the TAPA conference this summer at our booth. So we have also integrated with one very interesting fleet management system called FleetHand. So they're being used by many major fleets, especially also in the east of Europe. And they are a really interesting showcase that give us a glimpse into why this is not only a security matter, or if you want to put it the other way around, why this also contributes to paying for security. So I mentioned before that these 30 minutes is 1 hour that you search for traffic, if it's not line traffic, if it's something that where you actually have a little bit of ambiguity, or if it's a long route, that you have a problem because you will waste fuel. A statistic that I oftentimes hear, and of course I'm happy if there's your numbers, just contact me. I'm very eager to hear about it. Is usually you say 100 euros is a realistic number for an HGV driving from ATV for an hour. If you waste 30 minutes, that's easily calculatable. It's 50 euros that you just waste by not having a right parking place at the right time. So what you can see here in the background is that if you are integrating things like our parking system into a telematics system and into the route planning, then actually what the system will do is it will tell you exactly where you will have to do your breaks. So there's no guesswork. There's no 45. You don't have to guess where you have to do your 45 or your 9-hour break, but much easier. You can actually directly see it, and you see also which kind of parking places or service spaces you have in the near vicinity. And from that on, you can actually then pre-book it, cancel it, all the normal things that you can do from our standard website. But the thing is, it's great that we have a website, but let's be realistic. In the world of dispatching, in the world of security, we have so many systems, people are not able to cope with all of them. And it's important to bring it into those systems that they use the most. And that is also very much our mission. So you can really see here, from planning the route, seeing where the parking places, where the brakes are, to sending it to the driver, to actually having the option that in his phone he can auto-translate the instructions that he get, to really make sure that he knows how to enter a parking area. This is a great example that shows how we actually bring efficiency into this operation. And when I talk to customers, when I talk to partners, the very interesting thing that I see there is it's no longer only security companies. It's no longer companies that are in this group that are transporting TSR, relevant goods, or pharmaceuticals, or. It's really also people that just are without any prejudice, normal transport guys, but they know they can plan better. But for us who are in TAPA, I think the most important thing is that these kind of secured parking spaces also stay alive, that they grow, that they can actually expand, because only then we will see that only when they have the right amount of people coming, we will see a growing network there. I think that's a very simple calculation. And we hope to contribute to this by also bringing normal people there and providing through this kind of efficiency gains some sort of security plus efficiency gains. So I don't actually have a terrible amount of more slides, so I'm not going to bore you to death, I hope. What I want to show here is it's just like in one of our other partners, Webfleet. So I know Webfleet is still the biggest telematics company. They have 300,000 assets in Europe. So, and I think I'm allowed to do some advertising because it's not my company, right? So you can see here it's directly integrated, and Webfleet is a good example because they have lots and lots of smaller fleets also some bigger ones, obviously, but they have also lots of normal fleets that are not certified in some kind of TAPA way. And this provides us lots of benefits. And we believe strongly in this mission. We have to bring these kind of functionalities that also go beyond parking, by the way, really to the people, make it easy to use, easy to consume, and realize actual efficiency gains. Because the sad truth that I have learned over the years is if you have security, and you say, if you are responsible for security and you say, hey, I want to have some more money, if you didn't have a major theft, people will say, thank you for your suggestion, but talk to me later. And let's break through this and let's see that we make this an efficiency one. And here on the right, you can see some small partner logos. So we are working with lots of other people. And yeah, my biggest thing that I want to leave you with here before we go to any kind of Q&A is, if you are interested in this, of course, feel free to join us. It's a free platform. We are also interested if you have a solution that you believe would make sense from this kind of data integration, because that's our core expertise. So we would love to work together to actually really improve security, efficiency, resiliency together. So very happy to hear from you. Reach out. My contact details are here. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and for your extremely thought-provoking updates. Now, before we let you go, I just have a couple of quick questions. 3 I'm going to get through quickly for you. Now, truck parking security and the lack of available spaces have been long-standing issues in the logistics industry. From a Bosch perspective, how are you helping to not only address these concerns, but also contribute to the overall efficiency of logistics operations?
Yeah, and I think this really plays together with especially telematics. Because if you look at how logistics work today is, me as a Bosch or any kind of the shipper members of TAPA, we say, hey, let's go from A to B. We contract this to 3 and 4PL and to fleets. And it becomes extremely challenging because these people have to work under very tight cost constraints, right? So if we are able to save them 10, 20, 30 minutes driving, we believe this strongly contributes to them being able to actually afford, especially in transport security, these kind of measures. And for the shippers, if you look at the news, it's currently quite dire. You see lots of, at least in Germany, bad news. And I think that's all the more need that we need to safeguard our profits by preventing thefts from criminals. And I think that is one way to contribute to it.
We obviously see increasing resilience on technology to drive supply chain resilience. How does Bosch integrate with existing fleet and transport management systems to enhance their use for operators and drivers?
So I think that's a really good question, because when we first started, I was going around and talking to lots of fleet management and transport management systems. Said, hey, that's super interesting. Thank you so much. Might be nice, but I have 5 million things that are on my to-do list. So let's talk in 10 years. And the fact is, these systems are so big, so complex, and so good that you will actually never be in a high enough position, except if you are if you have one customer and you're bringing them. So that's quite challenging. But because we actually bundled both the API as well as the UI into some sort of smart SDKs, and because we made this really simple for them to integrate, if they have a map view, they can do it. I think this 2 weeks is quite a good reference, plus some Q&A, depending on you. That is something that makes it much easier. Nah? And we work together with partners, and we try to share also to make a business model that works for everybody, benefits the fleets, the transport management companies, as well as, of course, our partners in parking.
And finally, what's next for Bosch? Are there plans to expand your network of secure parking spaces or to introduce new features to help tackle evolving logistics challenges? What's going on in the future?
That's a very good question, because we have some really exciting things going on. So some of you might know our map, and you know that there have been some empty spots, especially in the UK. So I'm really happy to say actually they're going to fill up in the not too far future. This is coming very soon. But when it comes to other services also, what we are doing here is we are working also on things like charging. So charging will be available as well in these systems, because especially if you say you have a scope-free carbon neutrality goal and you want to be secure, then good luck planning your trips, because that's extremely challenging. And yeah, there's lots of other road services that we are working with. Ferries come to mind, because in the end, our goal is really to digitalize this transport journey from A to Z, with a big focus on actually tracking also what happens, or rather allowing the fleets to track this and provide it as reference points to their shippers. So really compliance is something that comes natural without a lot of effort. So that's what I think we can be excited for.